Couple minutes past 1 o'clock, so I will get started. Thank you guys for joining. Today I am talking all about smart plans. So I'll dive into some more specific smart plans, but then I wanted to get into more about how to create your own as well. So I think that's a really valuable piece in order to really customize a smart plan and really tailor it to fit your needs. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that in the purpose of creating those, whether it's, maybe a custom newsletter or it's, following up with a co-broke and doing like a thank you, or if it's more of a task-based smart plan too. So you can do, creating all of those smart plans for multiple different purposes. So I'll get in here, get started. Feel free to interrupt me at any time. I'm happy to, answer any questions. Love for it to be more interactive and you guys asking questions and comments and things like that. So feel free to jump in. So I will get started here and share my screen. And you guys should see my command account. So if you don't, feel free to let me know if there's any issues with seeing things. So, okay, so I'll get started here. And I'll just start at the home page. But obviously, I'm sure you guys have been in SmartPlans before and know where to find it. But SmartPlans is going to be that fourth icon down. So when you're logging into command, you're looking for SmartPlans, you're going to find it with that little, it's kind of like a checklist or bullet point like piece of paper, something like that. I don't know exactly what you would call this. So you can click on that icon. It's going to pull up SmartPlans, and you might see a couple updates here. I don't have a Twilio account anymore, so it's going to tell me your Twilio account is not connected. Just a little info on that. Twilio is a texting service, which you can set up through command. So if you are creating smart plans or you want any of your text messages to be automated, you would have to have that Twilio account set up in order to automate those text messages. And that is a paid service. So there's different levels of or kind of tiers to that service. I believe the lowest level is about $3 a month. That's for 300 credits, or basically 300 text messages a month. And those credits do roll over as well if you don't use them. But otherwise, if you are fine with not automating your text messages, the biggest thing too is that it does not come from your personal cell phone number. However, you would choose a local area code. So again, just something to keep in mind. It's great to use for leads because those people won't know your number regardless. But I know a lot of agents prefer to use their own personal cell phone number, especially when they're reaching out to family, friends, sphere, that type of thing. So I like to just exit out of these. It just makes my screen look a little bit more easy to read and view all of the smart plans that I have. If you've never used smart plans before, you are not going to see anything on this screen. So this is just going to list out all of the smart plans that I've added from the library or that I've created myself. So you'll see that listed there. But to get started with smart plans, I'm going to dive into the library. So a little background on the library here. Okay, there it is. So a lot of these smart plans are created by other Keller Williams associates. And, we always talk about Keller Williams as a very collaborative environment. And Smart Plans is kind of a very good example of that, because these are all created by other KW associates, agents, leadership. So if something's working for them, they can share it and publish it to the SmartPlan library, and other agents can grab it and utilize it as well. So you've got a few different sections here. So you've got featured. So these are just some popular ones. You'll see the title of the smart plan, the number of days, the number of touches, a short description. You'll also see the number of downloads, the rating, and who it's published by. You'll also be able to click on view steps. So this one, for example, is a monthly call plan, very, very basic. It's just going to be a task to make a phone call to whoever you have set up on the Smart Plan, and then it repeats every 31 days. And so that's just a continuous Smart Plan where you get those tasks to call those people, whoever you have set up on it. So if you want to add that, you just simply click on Add Smart Plan, and that's going to add it to your Smart Plan library, which is that tab that we were on initially. So it's really good to kind of look through some of these and take a look at some of the communication that you can set up within Command and just give you some good ideas as well. Below featured, you have the Keller Williams 10 Smart Plans. Call these the original KW Smart Plans. This is going to be where you find some of those smart plans like the bi-weekly or the monthly neighborhood nurture. That's that market update email that you can automate. I've talked about that one numerous times in trainings, on team meetings. It's a really solid email smart plan that you can automate to your database. And I think for the most part, everyone is interested in what's going on in the market, especially in their specific neighborhood. So that's going to include data like active listings for sale, average home sale price in that neighborhood, days on market. It's going to have nearby school information, transit and commute times. So if you're sending this to somebody, they can actually enter in their place of work, calculate that commute time from that neighborhood to that address that they're entering. So different things like that. I usually recommend actually adding yourself in as a contact in your database and set yourself up on either the biweekly or the monthly neighborhood nurture email so that you can see what that looks like from the client's perspective. So that's a really great automated email campaign that you can set up. And I usually tie that into when I'm talking about setting up a 36 touch. And you really want to think about smart plans on one aspect of it is smart plans are to help you set up that 36 touch and to automate some of that communication, especially those emails and those phone calls and even text messages too. Um, so that's where, let's say you have and if I scroll over, you'll see the monthly neighborhood nurture. So let's say you have that set up for everyone you have in your database, your sphere. That right there is 12 touches a year. So that's 12 touches out of that 36. So it's a really good solid smart plan to set up and have automated as part of your 36 touch. You'll see a few of the other KW smart plans, such as a birthday smart plan, and then also a home anniversary. So I like to point those two out because those are going to be the only two that are based off of the date that you entered in for a contact. So if you're adding contacts in your database and you're adding birthdays, you're not able to create your own custom birthday smart plan and expect it to be based off of the date entered. You do have to utilize these smart plans that are part of the KW Smart Plan Library. Just the way that I think things are coded and set up, because you want that triggered based off of that date, obviously. So you'll notice with the birthday smart plan, it's multiple steps, which is a little much in my opinion. But it at least notifies you of someone's birthday. And I think it's about like a few days before the actual date so that you can prepare. And then it's also going to notify you on the homepage, the dashboard of Command, whose birthday is coming up in the next 30 days. So again, that's all based on that date entered. So you'll see, like, for example, this is just a task to create a birthday card or send a birthday card. And then it delays a few days, and then it's going to prompt you to make a phone call. And then the next day, write on their social media, and then send a text. That's a little much. I think it's a little creepy to reach out 4 different ways. to wish somebody a happy birthday, but none of this is automated unless you have Twilio and those texts are automatically sent out. So at least this just gives you the notification of, hey, it's so and so's birthday, and then you can decide how you want to reach out and wish them a happy birthday.
I have a
So
question.
yes, Sarah.
Okay, well, first of all, this is Samantha, Sarah's assistant. Sorry. You were in the office yesterday and we were talking.
Yeah.
Anyways, so one thing I noticed with, because we have the monthly neighborhood nurture we use a birthday plan that we have set up like personalized for us, but we also use the KW home anniversary one. And
Okay.
like for example, I feel like when I first started this didn't happen as much, but now it's been happening. I've been here for about a year, but and I don't know if anything changed, but sometimes like when I'm on my own command and I'm on my own contact and I set up like home anniversary for myself, and it kind of gives you that like little disclaimer, letting you know like about like what it's going to do or whatever, and then you press accept, and then like that little green thing shows up at the top and it says like we'll update the contact shortly. Well, sometimes when I like come back in like a day later, it looks like the smart plan doesn't even add, like it doesn't like
Oh,
fully add on to the contact. So I'm just wondering, how do I know for sure that the smart plans are like activated without having to go back a million times and like re-add them?
sure.
Maybe it's a user error. I don't know, but
I
um
don't think so. And I'm trying to remember. That sounds familiar, to be honest. Where it's something to do with the type of smart plan where it doesn't like show up right away, even though you've added them. I may need to look into that a little bit more, but I remember it like it's like jogging my memory of like having to look into that at one point, and this was
right.
probably like a couple years ago. But I think it has something to do with the type of smart plan that it is, and it doesn't really like show up until like a few days before. But let me look into that because I don't want to give you like the wrong information.
No,
And
yeah,
just
that's
for
totally
my
fine.
knowledge too, I'm like, I need to brush up my knowledge on that a little bit more because I do remember that being a thing.
Right. And like I said, we use our own like birthday plan where we like just send a text like the day before, kind of
Yeah.
being like, we wanted to be the first people to say happy birthday, kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I know that that one is kind of like something we created, but we definitely use the home anniversary KW. And like right now, as I'm on the call, I just tried adding myself and I have a home anniversary in there,
Hmm.
and it like doesn't show up. And so
Okay.
sometimes it just like never shows up. So yeah, I mean, if you could get
Okay.
back to me, that'd be great. I would
Yeah.
like to know
Yeah.
that.
Let me look into that and play around with it and see why, if that's intended functionality or if something's off with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
Thanks.
because the birthday and the home anniversary should be pretty similar in how they're set up. And I know with both of those, you get that first task. I think it's about 4 or 5 days before the date. So I don't know if
Okay.
that's part of it, if it doesn't show up until a few days before.
So
Or
we just don't even have that as an option for ours. Like on our birthday one, we don't have all those extra tasks.
Mhm.
I noticed that it does the same thing as, the home anniversary one. And at least that one is exactly the same. I know that one for sure is going to be, it's like something that you could look into and tell me, oh, this is what's happening here. But I have to look more into our smart plans. I'm still learning about them, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, good. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, no, that's a really great question. But yeah, that's why I like to mention those because you could look at it and think like, well, like that's a lot. I don't want all of that to go out, but just to know, like, think of it more as a trigger versus like all of this is going to take place without like you having control because
right.
it won't do anything unless you make a call. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to
Hmm.
actually make a call and post on social media. Like it's not going to do any of that automatically.
Right.
You could look at that and say, yep, good, got it, done when you're managing your tasks and you can just check it off if you did make a call or you already sent the note. So,
Hmm.
yeah, but
Okay.
I'll look
Thank you.
into that why it's not like pinning like staying with the contact because you should be able to look at a contact, look at smart plans and see which smart plans they're assigned to basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, and just kind of staying on the KW ones, I know the open house follow-up is a popular one as well. So if you're doing a lot of open houses, and then you're adding contacts in your database, and it's a matter of whether you're tagging them with open house or maybe the specific property, then you can add them to this open house follow-up. And it's a pretty robust one. It's a 21-day long smart plan with 7 touches. Um, so it's a combination of sending out a text or sending an email. Um, and one thing that is really nice with smart plans is that it's kind of an opportunity for you to look at and rip off and duplicate like some scripts, whether it's a text message or an email, because a lot of these you're going to be able to see kind of what's included within. Okay, well, what did they put for that text message? What did they put for that email? And you can just kind of formulate ideas off of that too. Okay, so just kind of scrolling down the rest of the page, they've got top rated, and as you guys can see, like there are a ton of smart plans. There's over 3,000 top rated smart plans. This is going to show up with anything brand new. And keep in mind, you guys, anybody can go in, create a smart plan, and publish it. So that's where it can get a little cumbersome, like going through this library and looking at all of these. Um, so I would suggest looking up by whether it's a smart plan name, or even finding like a really good author, whether it's we've got some great like regional tech trainers and other like tech and marketing people throughout the organization who are really great at creating smart plans. And then they publish those and share those out with everybody. So I want to kind of dive into some specific ones. So if you're looking for kind of real estate information, newsletter type of smart plans, there is a regional tech trainer. Her name is Kimber Walton. She puts together quite a few. And if anything, it's content that you can rip off and duplicate. You can use exactly what she has. You can see there's a lot of downloads that people are using these and they're rated really high. So she'll put together a 36 touch plan. So it's basically 1 email a month with just real estate related content. And you'll see there's a part 1, part 2, part 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it goes up to 9. Um, she'll even do like monthly like NAR updates. So obviously a few of these are um, not relevant anymore, not timely, but most of the newer ones, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll find the newest like content. So one thing she put out recently was a 36 touch with 12 touches. So one email a month. So if it's something that you wanted to start this year, we're still in the month of January, so you could start it still this month and have it run through December. So this is one where if you just want an automated email to go to your database, this is a great option to utilize. So I've already added it into my SmartPlan library, but again, you'd click on Add SmartPlan and then click on Download. So I've already downloaded it, which is why it won't let me download it again. So anytime you add a smart plan, you're going to find that by clicking on the My Smart Plans tab. Just exit out of these again. So here's the one that I was just referring to. So if you wanted to take a look at that, under Actions, you're going to click on Edit. And that's going to bring you into kind of like the smart plan screen where you can make changes, edits to it. This would be what it looks like when you're creating your own smart plan. But then if you want to take a look at some of these details, these emails, click on each one of these rectangles, these sections here. So step 1 is to send an email. And you're going to be able to see the subject line, and you can also preview the email. You can also take it one step further, and if you want to make edits, so if you want to change that subject line, or if you want to edit the email content, click those 3 dots in that box there, and you can edit design. You can also preview, remove whatever you need to do. but most of the time you're just going to preview or you're going to edit design. So I'll click edit design and just hit continue to edit. And so this is going to bring up where you can actually look to see kind of what this looks like. So here's my editor. I can click on this, change this up if I want to. But just know that you don't have to. These are meant to be kind of built out and ready to go. I'm going to exit. I can also preview. Gives you a little bit better idea of what that email is going to look like in someone's inbox. So read through the content. This is really nice because she links some really helpful information. So some of these documents, like this one's from HubSpot. So this one's kind of cool. So the right home, wants and needs. So this is great for your clients to provide to your clients. So maybe you're doing like a buyer consultation, or you've got a group in your database that you know is maybe looking to buy in the next 12 months. Anyone who you think is kind of at that point in their life where they're looking to buy or sell, or both. This would be a great smart plan to set them up on. This one too. So you can take a look at those emails, those links. Oh, I guess this one doesn't like my browser. Okay. But again, it's good to look through this to see and make sure that those links are working, that the content is what you want it to be. Because again, you can't edit those. So I would suggest if you are adding these, look through it, make sure this is what you want your vision and your message to say, and that it aligns with your business. So you'll notice step 1 is sending an email. Step 2 is that same day is creating a task. Oops, so let me cancel out of that. And then I can click on here. So this one's really cool because not only are you sending an email, but it's also going to prompt you to post on social media. And even if you don't do it consistently, like it is, every single month, it is still really nice because it gives you ideas and it just gives you content. So you'll see here, the task name is just host your real estate dream team. And then there's the description with the content. So you could easily copy and paste this into Facebook, Instagram, any social media account. And then it's got that link to that document that you can share on social media as well as instead of just an email. So I thought this smart plan was really robust in providing a lot of great content. Oh, I didn't mean to exit out. I'm just going to show a couple more. Let me go back in there. All right, again, edit. And then you can click through and view those other emails as well. So you'll see every month is send an email and then post on social media with essentially the same content, and the same, if there's a hyperlink, it'll be included in there too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So first of all, when I search my 36 touch series on SmartPlans, it doesn't come up. Is that what it's called?
It should be, or 36 touch new series. I would search by author name. Try that.
I
Search
did do
author
that too, but
name.
she's got a million of them, but I just like whatever. I can figure
So
it out. It's fine.
if you search by author name, scroll all the way down, and it's one of the newer ones.
Okay.
I
And
would,
then
yeah,
my second question is like for this, because the way Sarah has things set up is that we have like follow up boss and command, and typically command is kind of used for like our actual clients, but I know that she's like trying to transition into using command more, but it's been a kind of a slow process. So
okay.
for like something like this, like is this like like you like personally, like if I don't know if you're an agent or if you practice real estate actually, but like the touch, like is this something that you would think that you would use for like a new lead, or is this like just contacting your database, or is it kind of a mix of both, or like what would you use this for, I guess?
I think it could be a mix of both. I think it's a very, just like a good general like reach out to your database, um,
Okay.
providing information. The reason I really like this one is because it provides a little bit more value in terms of like the content that's generated and the links with like those documents. Um, and so I think this could be more of I think this is for your sphere. Um, and I think it's for anyone in your database that, you know, is maybe has been lived in their house for a number of years and maybe getting to the point where they may downsize, or for the first time home buyer, or maybe for, those families in your database that that have, one child and maybe are looking to grow their family and would maybe like upgrade or upsize
Okay.
their home.
Hmm.
So like thinking through more strategically about, the people who you actually think would buy or sell in the next couple years. I think
Okay.
this would fit well with kind of that idea.
Okay.
Um but yeah, and it could be even like I always say the monthly neighborhood nurture is for everybody because
Right.
whether you are a first-time home buyer, you're currently renting, like, and you might be getting into the market in the next couple years, like, they're interested in what's going on to better prepare. I mean, I'm not moving anytime soon, but I like to see what's going on in my neighborhood. Like, I'm totally a nosy neighbor and I want to know what the house next door to me is selling for. And I want to view the photos, all of that information.
Hmm.
So I think everybody is interested in what's going on in their neighborhood. So that monthly neighborhood nurture, I think, is just set it up and forget it. I think,
Right. And we do that too. Like, I definitely
uh,
see what you're saying. It's just I'm trying to integrate it like more of like the leads, like when we have people come in, it's just hard when she's been doing it one way for so long and trying to convert it into command is like kind of a
yeah.
challenge. And there's so many great resources with these like touch plans and stuff. I guess I'm just getting on a personal level here. It's more so like
No,
my problem, but like I'm just trying to like figure out how we can use these smart plans and like integrate more, but that's obviously conversations I have to have with Sarah too. But anyways, thanks for the insight. I appreciate
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I know a lot of agents will have that monthly neighborhood nurture going, and it's a good idea to think through, okay, maybe you have that going the first of the month, and maybe something like this is sending on the 15th of the month. So that, okay,
Okay.
got 2 email touches going a month. That right there is 24 touches a year out of, your 36 touch if you're thinking about that.
Hmm.
Um, but it's different content. So you're providing that market update, but then here's a little bit more about like the process and some other resources if you are thinking of buying and selling or selling.
And then those like graphics that they have in the email, like the templated emails that kind of just go out, do
Yeah.
they pull those graphics from somewhere, or is that something where like the marketing team like makes those and has them available, or
So this might be, I'm not sure exactly where she gets them from. They could be coming from like a KW source. Um I know if I'm creating a smart plan, I'll usually design something in Canva and then put together the email, and I'll kind of reference the emails that I create and kind of show those. Um, so I'm not sure exactly where she's pulling this, but it looks like she's got that header and then she's got an image here and then the rest is text.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see. Here's just another one. I'm guessing this is something that she's creating in Canva or something like that, um, with like the text overlay and things like that. But yeah, and then obviously you can just see that it's every 30 days and it's gonna run through the entire year. All right, so I'm gonna exit out of that. And then I did want to dive into a couple that I thought were really interesting. Which would be great if you want to think through building your downline. Not necessarily your sending something to your clients, put to a co-broke. And there were a couple in here that I thought were good. So there was this 12 direct emails for agents or co-brokes. And then there was another like recruiting like after a transaction. Basically, reaching out to your co-broke after you worked with them on a transaction. So if anything, a lot of these just give you ideas as well. So I added those from the SmartPlan library, and I can go in and edit. And so this one in particular, um, so um, it's an email every month, every 30 days, um, lasting for 1 year. And these are more simple emails, not necessarily designed, but you can see that email content in here. And again, you could add co-brokes agents into your database, tag them with agent, tag them with co-broke, however you want to classify that tag so that you can easily filter, and then set them up on a smart plan like this. Now, you can certainly go in and edit this content if you want to tweak anything, or this could always just be kind of a matter of like ripping off and duplicating some of these ideas. So even if you don't want to do every single month, if you just want to add this and then look at some of this content, I always think that's a great idea, just to get ideas. So there's one in here too, that basically kind of invites them to like a team meeting. Or maybe we are having we're doing some sort of an event. I know we're running Ignite right now. Thinking about reaching out to some of those co-brokes that you enjoyed working with and inviting them to some of those training opportunities that Keller Williams puts together. And so this is one example of that. I attend a weekly business meeting that has a high level conversation about the market, about strategies to grow our business, and so much more. I'd love for you to be my guest if you're interested. So again, I think this is just a great example of ways that you can reach out to co-brokes and ultimately build your downline for profit share. So I really liked kind of going through some of these to get ideas. This is like inviting them for like conference. And I know last year we had like James Shaw, we had Jeff Glover. So if we have any of those events this year too, you could also do the same thing. So that was that one. And then there was another one too. That. Yeah, here we go. So this one, realtor recruiting after transaction. So this was just a thank you. We closed the deal. Hi. And then you'll see those merge fields in there too. So that'll just auto populate with the contact's first name. So it's a little bit more personalized when that email is sent out. Thank you so much for all of your work closing this deal. I'm so glad that it all worked out. I'd like to keep you on my list of agents to share listings with. Would that be all right? So again, just a lot of great ideas. You can always tweak this if you like the majority of the content, but you want to tweak just a sentence or two or add something, you certainly can. And this also is a text message. So again, it'll say like your Twilio account is not connected, but you could easily copy and paste this into a text message and send it out from your phone. So a few more text ideas. Facebook friend. All right, send email. Obviously, this wouldn't be Washington referrals. So again, make sure you're looking at some of those details as well. All right. So that one's not as long, but still just a really good, good touch point ideas. All right. So then I did want to go into back into the library. And then if you are looking for more local content, if you are following our 12 direct campaign that we put together, you're always able to find those as an email smart plan in command. So you can search by smart plan name. Everything that we create, we're going to include KW Milwaukee in the title. So when you search for those, a lot of those you'll see with my name as the author. So there's a first time home buyer smart plan in here. So that's available. That I created a few years ago now. So, but it's still pretty relevant. As you scroll down, you'll see some other smart plans that we did last year. But a couple that I want to point out. So if you're looking for like a 6-month long smart plan, we did the ultimate buyer and ultimate seller smart plans. So if you want to target specifically buyers or sellers, one of these would be really great in terms of the topics. So it's just an email every month for 6 months. And if I take a look at those in my SmartPlan library, I can edit and I can view those emails once you've added that smart plan in. So we've got topics such as top tips for first-time home buyers. You can preview that email. And again, it's content geared towards buyers or sellers. Um, so top tips, why hire a buyer's agent? What value do you bring? The 8 steps to buying a home. Information on financing and mortgages. Relocating and moving. And then what's next? And this is really going to include a call to action about setting up a buyer consultation with you. So that's the last email. So that's the ultimate buyer smart plan, and then the other one was obviously for sellers. So again, it's something where if you are you're looking at your database and you want to tag certain contacts with either a buyer or seller or potential buyer, potential seller, 2025, however you want to tag them to kind of classify, okay, who could be in this bucket of people in my database and how do I need to communicate with them effectively in order to, set up a buyer consultation or a listing appointment or just get them on the phone.
I have a question
Yeah.
again. Okay, so just for example, like because I typed in KW Milwaukee and I found the ones that you were talking about, and next to it there's one that's 4th of July, and
Mhm.
I mean you made it, so I figure you probably well yeah you made it. So in that case, that's just like a smart plan where you click on it, it says the duration of one, touch one, step one. It's just an email that says Happy 4th of July. Is that something where like on the 4th of July you're going in and you're setting up these people, these tagged people for this smart plan? Is that like how that works?
Yeah. So basically, like, let's say 4th of July, you want to send out an email just wishing your database a happy 4th of July. You can, select everybody basically to receive that email. And you can either send it out immediately or you can schedule it. And I'll walk through that too. So yeah, that would just be a one-step email. It's just one email sending out to your database.
Okay, that makes sense. I just was curious because I do have a question, but maybe like once you're done with your whole thing, because I want to see how you would do something on your end. Um, just setting up like a really basic smart plan. So
Yeah.
we can do that at the end if you're
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I mean, like I said, like go through these, you can preview all of this. The seller smart plan is going to be similar, but it's going to have topics more so about, um, you know, common home selling myths, professional photography, why that's important, curb appeal, same thing, staging, and where are buyers looking, so on and so forth. So those are all in there. But going back to more of like the one-off, like just one-off emails. That's where we put together those 12 direct campaigns. And you'll see some old ones in here. We've got beer gardens, Christmas tree farms. So some of those are obviously old. They have the year on them. So pretty much every year we like to do the same sort of campaign with the same content, but then obviously update the design and some of the kind of like the local businesses and things might change a little bit. Um, but for example, we've got ice skating rinks. So that's something that's relevant right now. So these are really meant to provide more local content to your database for things to do in the area. So again, you would just add SmartPlan and download it. So then once that's in your database, and I've got that in here, ice skating rinks. Okay, so I can edit that one. And you'll see it's just a one step. Day one, step one, send email. That's it. So I can click on it. I can preview. These are going to autofill with your marketing profile information. So your photo, your name, your phone number, your email, the Market Center logo, KW logo. So then you'll be able to see that image, the text, and then the branded footer as well. If I wanted to edit, I can change up that subject line if I want to. I can edit the design if I want to add some additional information in here or a little bit more personalized message, you can do so. I can also preview this so I can actually see what information is feeding in there. So if you're like, oh, I forgot to update my headshot, I have a new headshot, that would be updated in your marketing profile. So if you're seeing something else feed in here that's not correct, just know that you can edit that in your marketing profile in Command. I've got, the same logo. So, but I would
I
look at
got
that.
two quick questions, super quick, sorry. Um, like for the logo part, like with like the merger and stuff, like like if I were to download this, would it come up as KW Milwaukee like logo, or is there like a separate logo
Whatever
that would?
whatever logo is in your marketing profile. So if you have the
Oh, gotcha.
logo in there, that's totally fine. You can keep using that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
you
then
do not.
also the other question I have is like personally for you, do you have like a calendar almost of like smart plans like that you enact like throughout the year? Like,
So what I suggest is that's a great question. Because what I suggest doing is if you go to our KW Realty MKE website and go to the agent hub. Sorry, I keep having to move the Zoom toolbar. And then scroll down to tech and marketing resources. Click on marketing and social posts. That's going to open up a Google Drive folder and you'll find the 12 direct folder in there. I would take a look at everything that we've done the previous year and then you can plan out because like I said, we pretty much will do the same ones every single year, maybe adding in some new ones. Like I know we're working on a local breweries one right now, and we're working on a Valentine's Day like date night ideas. So those are coming shortly here. And those are two that we haven't done before. But you
I
can
know
look
that
at,
there's, oh, sorry,
yeah.
Lindsay.
No, go ahead, Katie.
I was gonna say, I know there's other teams that do create like a mega tracker that runs for the year that they break down like every month which smart plan they're going to be using.
Oh,
And like they
okay.
keep track of it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and it could just be like, a content calendar of like you can go through like these like 12 direct campaigns and you can see, okay, here's the brewer schedule, hiking trails for spring, farmers markets, summer festivals. And then you can kind of plan out your year of like, okay, well, in March, we're sending out the brewer schedule. In April, we're sending out hiking trails. In May, farmers markets. June, beer gardens. Um, or June is fireworks schedules. September's apple orchards and so on and so forth. So that's what I usually would suggest doing. And you could even create a smart plan where it's more task based on, okay, send brewer schedule, send farmers market email. And then you're getting those tasks. And then you're able to see those in command every single month when they're due. So that's one idea, one option that you could kind of implement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think that in my head, I always viewed smart plans as something that has to be recurring, but I'm starting to realize that this can be used more for like an immediate, like if you had some kind of content calendar, like you said, and then you had like ideas of what was going to be sent when, you can use it in that way. So it's kind of like opening my eyes to a different perspective with it. So
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, of course. And Smart Plans is great because it allows me to create the Smart Plan for our agents and publish it to the library so that anybody across our organization can grab it and utilize it. Whereas, email campaigns, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to, it would just be a lot harder. But this really opens up the opportunity for everyone to grab the content and then use it, manipulate it, edit, whatever you want. So
Hmm. Perfect.
yeah, so just know that those are always going to be in there. Anytime we have a new 12 direct campaign, I'm creating the smart plan in the background too and publishing that. So if you hear, oh, local breweries, 12 direct campaign is live, you'll be able to find that in the Smart Plan library. And again, you can search either KW Milwaukee by Smart Plan name, or you can just search by author name and put my name. So either one of those, you'll find it. Okay. All right, what are we good? Okay, we're good on time, a little bit. Okay, so just really, really quick. Let's just say I'm going to take the example of you are setting up that like task-based like smart plan just to remind yourself of which like 12 direct campaigns you're sending out. So you can always hit create and create your own smart plan. So maybe you're doing 12 direct campaign task reminders, or maybe this is content calendar, something like that. However you want to name that. Then you're going to create the plan. So this is going to create it. It's going to bring us to this screen. So we're starting from scratch. So basically you work from left to right. So for this one, it's really just going to be tasks. So here's that create task. I'm going to click, drag it in there. And then over here, I'm going to name it. So maybe this is going to be January. And then this is going to be like send out ice skating rink email smart plan. So you can type in your description, due on that same day, or maybe you want to add that to the title, January 12 direct, however you want to do that, add stuff. And then you're going to add a day. And when you do that, you can change this wait 1 day and you can change that, let's say 30 days. So we're going to do this monthly. That's basically what you're going to do for 12 steps. So again, create task, February 12 direct. Send out Valentine's Day date ideas. Add step. And so on and so forth. Wait 30 days. But basically, once you create this, then you're going to be able to like essentially like assign this to yourself and see those task reminders. Then you do March, so on and so forth. All right. So I'm just going to cancel that out, but basically you would do that until you get to December.
And the campaign, each 12-month thing, what is are those smart plans called? Because when I
Yeah,
searched it,
if they're going to be called, like, for example, Ice Skating Rinks 2025 KW Milwaukee.
oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, so if you go into the library and you search KW Milwaukee, every one of those is going to have that in the title. So
Yeah,
again,
I was just looking for 12-month, but I see what you're saying now.
oh,
Like
they're all
you're,
individual.
yes, yes, I see.
Yeah.
I get it.
And it's hard because I get this question a lot about like automating it for the entire year, which I would love to do. It's just that obviously like the brewer schedule isn't out yet, so we haven't created it.
Right.
So there's some of those where in really for most of them, we're basing it off of like, the farmers markets. Like there is sometimes certain years the locations change. And so we do a lot of background like data like collecting to make sure that we have the dates and the locations and the addresses correct when we're designing and putting these together. So we kind of have to rely on external sources before we can create the content. We always try to have it out as soon as possible. Um, but that's kind of why we can't like be like, here's your 12 direct campaign for 2025. It's just because we don't have the content all created yet. So,
Right.
but that's where I suggest kind of planning ahead so that the moment we're like, hey, this one's out, then you can be like, okay, schedule that or send it out whenever you want for that month. So,
Lindsay, for the ones that have like the emails,
mhm.
what is the best way? Like, do you create separate tags for each like campaign? Or how do you assign your contacts to the smart plan to send out?
Yeah, so let's just say I want to send out the ice skating rinks. So as long as you have it added under your smart plans, I like to go into contacts because you'll notice, I'm going to go back into smart plans really quick here. If I were to add contacts from here, I'm going to find that ice skating one and I do actions, add contact. I have to go through each 20 at a time.
Okay.
I can't just select all. So it's a little tedious, and especially like I only have 33 contacts, but like let's say you have a database of 1,000 and you want to just
That's
add
a lot.
everybody that you have an email for, you want to send it out. That would get way too tedious. So the easiest way is to go into contacts and then make sure to show up to 500 contacts, select all, actions, add to smart plan.
Okay, duh.
And
That
then you
makes sense.
do,
But
okay,
you
so
would do that for every smart plan that you have. So it's not like you're creating tags, you're just assigning them to each
yeah.
individual smart plan. Okay.
Yeah, and if you wanted to, you can always filter here by tags, and let's just say I'm sending out that Colebrook one, and I have Colebrooks in here, they're tagged with agent, apply, oh, I don't have anybody, but then you would do the same
So that
thing.
makes sense. Okay.
So
I
that
knew I
just,
was overthinking that.
no, it's a great question. Because yeah, I think a lot of people, just would assume that it's easiest to you just add the contact to
Hmm.
smart plan screen, but I just find it way easier to do it from contacts. Um, I just like the visibility is a lot more streamlined in my opinion. And I can add up to 500 people at a time. So I don't
Yeah.
have to,
Okay.
yeah. Um, okay. Well, that's all I have for today. I know we're almost at the hour. So any last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything like that?
Well, I did want to just like um go over that one smart plan thing, but Katie, if you have anything, you can go
No,
first.
I don't. No, no, I'm all good.
Okay, so in the case that like you are going to create a smart plan, like I just want to see how you would do it. So if you could just show me. So like for example, like say you're going to make a smart plan and it's going to be you want it to trigger like the day of the home anniversary. Like how do you set that up? Because like when I like edit the smart plan, like it says like it triggers like immediately or like a couple
Yeah,
days
so
later, but how do you connect it to like the date in the contact?
that's where those KW ones are the only ones that are triggered based off of the date.
Oh, so
So
you can't like me, like I can't go in and create my own like that?
you cannot. Nope. That's why you have to, if you want a birthday or home anniversary, SmartPlan and it triggered, you have to use those KW ones. I can't create
Oh.
like my own birthday SmartPlan and expect it to trigger based on that date entered for the contact. Unfortunately, it won't. It's just the one that's already created under KW in the library
So
here.
I don't wonder why they don't like allow us to do that. I don't understand why we wouldn't be able
Something to do
to.
with the coding issue. You know, I would just be guessing at this point. I honestly don't know. And maybe it's something that down the road they're working on, to be able to create a custom birthday smart plan and have it being triggered off the date. But for right now, at least, it's just this one in here that is triggered.
So,
But the other thing too, keep
how
in
do
mind,
where does it say that it's triggered?
that's just how the smart plan's set up.
Oh,
It doesn't say anywhere. It's like if you go into answers.kw.com, it'll say, um, if you're like looking up the birthday smart plan, it'll say that's the only one triggered based on the date. But keep in mind, if you have dates entered, you're always going to have this smart view. And if you have any birthdays coming up in the next 30 days, this is going to tell you who's coming up.
right.
So that's also an indication that just automatically is in there.
Well, that makes so much more sense because I don't know, like the person before me set up that smart plan that I was talking about with like the
Okay.
text like day before, and I think we were both under the impression that it was sending like based on the birth date. That makes sense why I had some clients text me and be like, my birthday's not today. I'm like, how are you getting this text message?
Oh, okay. So it was going out right away because
Yeah.
we're just setting it up thinking that it would be triggered on there. Yeah. Okay. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I
Yeah.
guess then I can, but if I were to like download the, because we do have the KW plan downloaded. So like in the case that we have that, then we could take out like day 1, day 5, like if we wanted to, and only keep that day 6 where it actually sends the text and it would still trigger the correct way, right?
It would trigger the correct way on the correct date. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Sorry, I didn't catch that when you were explaining it initially. So I apologize.
No, yeah, it's all good. There's a lot going on. So um but then I guess that answers my question then and I'm all good.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, that makes sense then. Okay. Any other questions?
Not for me, no.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys, I appreciate you jumping on and sticking with me through the hour, and hopefully this was helpful. And you know, I always say reach out if you have questions on smart plans, and happy to help. So.
Do you talk about smart plans every week or is it kind of like a different
No,
topic
it's
every week?
different topics every week. And I know in February, I think I'm going to do more of a newsletter specific training. So that'll incorporate smart plans as well, but more about like the email design editor too. But yeah, I think next week is on agent sites, if I'm correct. But yeah, the training calendar will have the specific topics included too. If you want to,
Agent sites through KW, like, okay,
yeah, through
cool.
command. Mhm.
I definitely need to learn about that, so I will be here next
All
week.
right, nice. All right. Well, thank you again, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great
Lindsay.
day. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.